over a year without a win. His rival manufacturers running away with the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series season, and yet Kyle Larson walks into a radio interview and tells the entire sport, relax, I'm fine. Is he delusional? Or does he actually know something the rest of us are missing? Here's where things stand right now. Kyle Larson, the defending Cup Series champion, has not won a race since the Advent Health 400 at Kansas round 12 of the 2025 season. That is more than 12 months without a trophy. He currently sits sixth in the 2026 Drivers' Championship standings, 29 points behind his own Hendrick Motorsports teammate Chase Elliott, who's sitting comfortably inside the top four. But here's the thing people keep glossing over. Larson has 5 top 5 finishes this season. He's led more laps than the current championship leader, Tyler Reddick. Only Denny Hamlin has racked up more green flag miles out front. So is this actually a slump, or is it something more complicated? Let's zoom out for a second. Toyota's been a different level in 2026. 9 wins for the Toyota camp. Chevrolet, 5. And Hendrick Motorsports rolled out a completely redesigned body this year, expecting to narrow that gap. The results tell a different story. Larson won the 2025 championship without a single playoff win. He ground out points, stayed consistent, and outlasted the field. That's a legitimate title, but it also set a strange expectation. Can a driver win championships by grinding rather than dominating? The problem this year is that Toyota isn't just fast in bursts. The Gibbs cars in the Reddick camp have looked a step ahead on almost every surface. When your equipment isn't the class of the field, converting fast laps into actual victories gets exponentially harder. And then there's a Michigan race where 11 cautions in a single 200-lap event consumed more than a quarter of the race under yellow. Larson finished 4th that day, battling Carson Hocevar down to the wire, while Denny Hamlin cruised to an 11-second victory. Green flag racing, Larson's bread and butter, barely showed up. Now here's where the real conversation starts. When Larson said on Sirius XM that the team has had less opportunities to win because the Toyota cars are so fast. That is not a deflection. That is a measured, honest assessment of the competitive landscape. And it deserves to be treated as such. The narrative around a slump assumed that nothing has changed except the driver's performance, but that's not what we're seeing. Larson is leading laps. He's finishing inside the top 5 consistently. His gap to the top 4 in points is less than 30 points. That's a playoff position fight, not a crisis. The real risk here is a different one. If Hendrick Motorsports cannot close the horsepower and aerodynamics gap to Toyota before the playoffs begin, Larson's consistency ceiling might not be high enough. In the playoffs, you need moments. You need wins on specific tracks under pressure. Being the best of the Chevrolet runners doesn't get you a championship ring. There's also a psychological layer worth noting. Larson saying he won't stress himself out is smart race management applied to mental preparation. Panic leads to overdriving. Overdriving leads to crashes and DNFs. The worst thing he could do right now is force a win that isn't there and compromise his playoff position doing it. But here's the counter argument. And it's valid. If Toyota keeps putting up wins at this rate, the gap in momentum heading into the second half of the season becomes a real psychological weight. Points are fine. Winning is different. Winning changes the energy inside a race shop. So is this smart composure or carefully managed confidence masking a deeper problem? Predictably, the internet is split right down the middle on this one. One side hears Larson's measured response and sees a champion with the mental framework to stay locked in through adversity. The 2021 version of Larson before the title runs would have been more rattled publicly. This version sounds grounded. The other side hears those same words and thinks defending champion, one of the most talented drivers in the sport, and he's explaining why he's okay with not winning. That's not championship talk. That's survival talk. There's truth in both readings. And the debate is only going to get louder if the wind drought stretches into the summer. 2 ways this plays out. Larson picks up a win in the next few weeks, validates everything he's been saying, reestablishes himself as a title contender, and enters the playoffs with momentum. His consistency keeps him in position, and in the knockout rounds, experience and racecraft take over. He becomes the story of the second half of 2026. The Toyota advantage holds. Larson finishes the regular season without a win for the 2nd consecutive year and goes into the playoffs as the composed but winless defending champion. One bad race in the round of 16 ends it. And suddenly the I'm not stressed quotes from June start looking a lot worse in hindsight. The gap between those 2 scenarios is razor thin right now. Larson has earned the right to not panic. The resume backs him up, and the data this season backs him up. But at some point, does composure start looking like complacency? That's the question NASCAR fans should be asking right now. Is Kyle Larson the most dangerous driver in this playoff field? Quiet, consistent, and building towards something? Or is he the defending champion slowly watching a window close? Drop your take in the comments. Is Larson legitimately a championship threat in 2026? Or has Toyota already made this season a foregone conclusion? And if you're here breaking down NASCAR with us every week, you know what to do.